Welcome to the news on AT International. I am Mina Daniels. First, let's look at the headlines. Global leaders converge on Tianjin, China for high-stakes security summit as Ukraine peace talks falter. NDLEA destroys 178,000 kg of skunk, arrests several suspects nationwide. World Sustainable Development Goals Summit reflects some progress in Nigeria, chart innovative pathways for a sustainable future. Today is International Day for People of African Descent, established by the United Nations General Assembly through resolution and observed annually on August 31st. The day aims to promote the extraordinary contributions of the African diaspora worldwide and to eliminate all forms of discrimination against people of African descent. The day aligns with the International Decade for People of African Descent 2015 to 2024, which concluded in 2024, and the newly proclaimed Second International Decade of 2025 to 2034. Focus of this year's celebration is people of African descent, recognition, justice, and development. Leaders arrive for the extraordinary regional security summit amid stalled Ukraine peace talks. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi are among 20 world leaders attending the summit in China. Kolo Mohammed tells us more.
On the sidelines of the summit, Xi Jinping, China's president, is holding talks with Prime Minister Modi ahead of the annual gathering of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in the port city of Tianjin. It is Modi's first time in China in 7 years, and the summit comes as U.S. President Donald Trump has imposed steep tariffs on Indian goods as punishment for Delhi's continued purchase of Russian oil, and Putin faces threats of sanctions for his ongoing war in Ukraine. President Xi, in his meeting with Modi, said India and China should be partners, not rivals, while Modi said there is now an atmosphere for peace and development among the two nations. The summit, attended by more than 20 world leaders, this year is said to be overshadowed by trade wars with the U.S. U.S. President Donald Trump continues to slap trade tariffs on global products going to the U.S. These global leaders now feel shortchanged by this act being put up by Donald Trump. The tariffs are now shifting away from trade and investment agreements that have been tainted by political retribution, a move that global leaders deem unacceptable. This development suggests that the tariffs are being reevaluated to avoid punishing companies and countries for political reasons, instead of focusing on legitimate trade and economic concerns. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
China has introduced the world's first universal 6G chip capable of providing high-speed internet across all frequencies, South China Morning Post. This will potentially increase speeds by 5,000 times compared to the current level of internet in rural areas of the USA. It is stated that with such a chip, the transmission of a 50-gigabyte 8K resolution movie can be done in a matter of seconds. There is an urgent need to address the challenges of 6G development, said Professor Wang Qingjing from Peking University, adding that due to the increased demand for devices with 6G chips, next-generation networks must leverage the advantages of various frequency bands. The 13th and first female vice president of Colombia, Francia Márquez, has expressed admiration for Nigeria's women's creative will, resilience, religious harmony, and unity. She made the remarks during her visit to Nigeria as part of a broader tour of selected African countries aimed at connecting with her roots and strengthening bilateral ties in areas of trade, youth development, and women empowerment. The Colombian vice president, who is in Nigeria for a 3-day visit, expressed delight stepping in as a free and dignified citizen of the black descent into the soil where her ancestors were taken away in chains due to slave trade and colonialism. President Mnangagwa of Zimbabwe has met Pope Leo XIV in the Vatican. The aim of the visit is to improve relations between the Holy See and Zimbabwe. Kolo Mohammed has details.
The conversations covered various aspects of Zimbabwe's political and economic situation, particularly the collaboration with the local church in areas such as healthcare, education, and the environment. Additionally, the parties exchanged views on regional issues, underscoring the importance of promoting multilateralism, dialogue, and cooperation among nations. Following the meeting with the Pope, Mnangagwa met with Cardinal Pedro Parolin, the Vatican Secretary of State, as well as Monsignor Paul Richard Galea, Secretary of Relations with States and International Organizations. Zimbabwe has faced significant economic downturn in recent years, characterized by hyperinflation and devalued currency. In other news, thousands of Australians have turned out for anti-immigration rallies across the country that were condemned by the government as having far-right links and spreading hate. The rallies took place in Sydney, Melbourne, and other major cities, with several clashes taking place as marchers, including One Nation Senator Pauline Hanson and Federal Member of Parliament Bob Keter.
This is not the Australia that I first came to and loved.
There's a guy laying down there, sleeping in the park. We can't even look after our own people.
I'm sick of people ruining the country, okay, and I'm sick of people taking away our homes.
They're calling us racist, but we're not. We just want equal rights.
Australia has faced recent rise in right-wing extremism and made the Nazi salute punishable by a mandatory prison term. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
The World Sustainable Development Goals (SDG) organization has convened a high-level officials retreat under the theme Sustainable Development in Nigeria. The gathering brought together key stakeholders, policymakers, and development experts to reflect on Nigeria's progress towards the global SDGs and to chart innovative pathways for the nation's sustainable future. Haman Jabani reports.
At the heart of the discussions was the need to localize the SDGs in a way that aligns with Nigeria's unique socio-economic realities, with participants exploring critical areas such as poverty reduction, quality education, healthcare, environmental sustainability, clean energy, and economic growth. The retreat did not only serve as a platform for open dialogue, strategic planning, and knowledge sharing, with participants committed to addressing the country's developmental challenges in line with the United Nations 2030 agenda. It laid bare the progress made in certain sectors while also addressing systematic issues such as inadequate infrastructure, weak institutions, and funding gaps, which participants say must be addressed urgently.
Let us redefine what is possible when innovation meets determination, when partnership transcends borders, and when a nation decides it is time is now.
Achieving the zero hunger in Nigeria, it requires coordination and strengthening agricultural system to improve market access and also credit to the farmers.
Officials highlighted the importance of adopting innovation, financing mechanism, leveraging technology, and strengthening public-private partnership to accelerate sustainable development outcomes.
I'm really enthralled by the activities being carried out by the Nigerian office. Because in my capacity as the continental governor, if the country where I come from is not doing well in this aspect, definitely I think I may not have any opportunity or more confidence to speak about the organizations in other countries.
Increase of productivity, sustaining practice can improve source of efficiency, reduce waste and increase productivity. Cost savings, implementing sustainable practice can reduce energy consumption, water usage, and waste management.
The outcome of this retreat are expected to shape policies and initiatives that will guide Nigeria's journey towards a sustainable, prosperous, an inclusive future. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, says Nigeria public health system is being strengthened, repositioned and equipped for a 21st century that will continue to usher in various levels of globalized health threats and emergencies. Highlighting the Nigerian Center for Disease Control Preparedness and Readiness Alert System, a predictive risk-based platform for decision-making. And aside from the provision of new disease surveillance and response infrastructure, over 325 infection prevention and control focal persons from 95 tertiary hospitals and 214 secondary facilities nationwide are currently undergoing structured training to become certified IPC professionals, which serves as a major boost to Nigeria's health security workforce. And the Nigerian Army says it will keep on instilling strong work ethics such as discipline, accountability, integrity and respect in personnel to ensure that they develop a mindset aligned with the military's core values. This was re-echoed at the Work Ethics and Organizational Performance Course 7 by the Nigerian Army Resource Center in Abuja. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
In today's complex security environment, ethical lapses and poor organizational performance can have their consequences. This course not only prepares personnel to meet the high standards of military service, but also equips them to respond to evolving challenges with professionalism and integrity.
To hone your skills, remind you about some things that you forgot, introduce some new things to you, just to make you better leaders and servants of your respective organizations and services. So as you depart from here, please, I want to urge you, whatever you learn from here, this is the only way you can add value to your organization, to society, and by extension to our country, Nigeria.
Ultimately, the course ensures that junior and middle cadre members are not just capable in their duties, but are also trusted custodians of the military's reputation and mission. The Work Ethics and Organizational Performance course plays a pivotal role in shaping the professional foundation of junior and middle cadre personnel in the armed forces for operational effectiveness and direct impact mission success. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
The National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, has emphasized the importance of patronizing and supporting locally manufactured products as one of the surest ways to stimulate Nigeria's economy. This was stated during a strategic awareness program held in Damaturu, Yobe State, where the agency highlighted how patronizing made in Nigeria goods can drive the country towards prosperity. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
The National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, is a federal government agency established to fuel innovation and drive indigenous industrialization for a sustainable future. To this end, the agency brought together local manufacturers, entrepreneurs, and consumers from across Yobe State for strategic focus group discussions centered on sharing innovative ideas to improve the quality, visibility, and patronage of Nigerian-made products.
It is a welcome idea, and I hope NASENI will be organizing this kind of forum from time to time so that more and more people will have the opportunity to come and showcase their initiatives and creativity.
And I believe when you have the raw materials, you have the labor, and you have the market, what is the point of going out and buying from somebody? You just produce it in your locality. And by producing it in your locality, you have provided your populace with a job.
According to NASENI, the initiative aligns with President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, aiming to revolutionize local industries, reduce import dependency, and stimulate Nigeria's economy through innovation and entrepreneurship.
And you can see a lot of manufacturers here. It's an opportunity for them that will be created as a window for them to meet out with Naseni for collaboration and partnership.
Several locally manufactured products by Naseni were showcased, including a four-wheel drive hybrid pickup van, among the 35 products to be introduced to the Nigerian market, with the hope of being game changers in the nation's manufacturing sector. In the Matru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
You're still watching the news on NTA International. We'll take a break now. We'll be back in a moment. Thanks for joining us again. As the fight against illicit substance continues, a 75-year-old man and 6 other suspects have been arrested with illicit substances by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in parts of Anambra State. This is just as the anti-narcotic agency intercepts tramadol capsules in fuel tanker heading to Borno State. Details of these and more with Salwa Khalil Ibrahim.
The 75-year-old man was arrested with 26.7 kilograms of skunk in Anambra State, along with 5 others who were caught with various quantities of opioids. In Taraba State, a 30-year-old man was arrested with a Dane gun during a raid on his 71.5 hectare of cannabis farm, where 178.750 kilograms of skunk were destroyed. NDLEA operatives intercepted 104,900 capsules of tramadol concealed in a fuel tanker heading to Borno State, and a suspect was taken into custody. Additionally, a major supplier of illicit opioids was arrested in Borno State, and 30,640 pills of tramadol, 7,940 tablets of Rofinol, and 7,999,200 naira were recovered from his apartment, while in Ekiti State, NDLEA operatives seized 5.3 grams of loud and Colorado, as well as 2.5 grams of methamphetamine from a 42-year-old drug kingpin. There are also interdictions in Nasarawa, Lagos, Gombe, Adamawa, Kano, Edo, and Ondo State during the week under review. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
The Nigerian Labour Congress and the National Pension Commission have resolved to work in harmony to address lingering issues surrounding retirees' pensions. This understanding followed a courtesy visit by the Director General of PENCOM, Omolola Oloworan, to the NLC President Joseph Ajero at the Labour House in Abuja. The PENCOM boss said the visit was to clear misconceptions, stressing that contributors' funds are safe as they are managed by licensed pension fund administrators, not PENCOM. She also reiterated the Commission's commitment to transparency and called for the establishment of a governing board. On his part, NLC President Joseph Ajero highlighted challenges facing retirees, including the unclear status of gratuity under the contributory pension scheme, alleged shortchanging by PFAS, non-remittances by some employers, and exclusion of many workers. He insisted the union's demands remain in the best interest of retired workers. On issues affecting wildlife conservation in how to salvage the national heritage, as well as the protection of the forest and biodiversity in Nigeria, topped discussions at the stakeholders in Calabar. Erika Ivy reports that the workshop was organized by Wildlife Conservation Society in collaboration with the Cross River National Park Service and the European Union.
The engagement workshop affords stakeholders, communities and partners opportunity to review policies and framework for forest management and the conservation of the forest for posterity. The Conservator General, National Park Service, Dr. Ibrahim Musa Goni, condemns activities of illegal mining, forest exploitation, deforestation, and animal trapping in the Cross River National Park, which he notes degrades the forest and threatens endangered species in the area and other reserve forests in the country.
The resources are there. How to get there is the problem. The roads are not in good shape, and it takes a lot of time for visitors to get to these places.
There was a time over 2,000, 3,000 Fulanis invaded the national park, which is the Okwango division, into Okwango, and they were tapping gold. And the people don't even know what gold is. And in fact, they took over the forest and raised alarm.
Other stakeholders at the workshop sue for collaboration and partnership to revamp the exploited forests in biodiversity while encouraging cocoa farming with modern techniques to discourage the youths from deforestation, especially timber logging and illegal mining.
Yeah, but I beg to say that Cross River State cocoa is one that has a flavor that cannot be gotten in the world. I want to remind you that at international level, when we went for a contest with other countries that are producing cocoa, Cross River State cocoa came second.
But we need all stakeholders to come together to discuss how we can confront the increasing threats to forests in Cross River State, principally illegal logging.
Stop this deforestation that is happening at an alarming rate, and how we can also engage the communities to safeguard this forest. So
in Calabar, Erika Ivy, NTA News.
Former Inspector General of Police and immediate past chairman of the Police Service Commission, Dr. Solomon Arase, has passed on. Francis Form reports that Dr. Arase died in the early hours of Sunday, August 31st, 2025.
There is no society that is actually crime-free, but we are trying to ensure that it is within tolerable, levels. And
former Inspector General of Police, Dr. Solomon Ehigiato Arase, who passed away at the age of 69, will be fondly remembered as a reform-driven police chief who dedicated his life to building a more professional, accountable, and people-friendly Nigeria police force. Arase, who served as the 18th Inspector General of Police between 2015 and 2016, distinguished himself through his commitment to community policing, intelligence-led crime prevention, and strengthening welfare for officers. He championed reforms aimed at restoring public trust in the police, including the expansion of Police Complaint Response Unit and the push for improved training and retraining of personnel. Beyond his service years, Dr. Arase continued to contribute to national security as chairman of Police Service Commission, where he emphasized discipline, fairness, and merit in police recruitment and promotion.
That's why I'm talking about succession planning. So if you look at all of us, we have an exit date. No matter how you do this job, if you get extension 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, one day you will go.
His legacy will endure in his vision for a modern, people-centered police force and his tireless advocacy for professionalism, integrity, and respect for human rights in policing. Francis Form, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu condoles with the Nigerian police force over Solomon Arase, CFR, the 18th Indigenous Inspector General of Police, IGP, who died on Sunday at 69. President Tinubu commiserates with the family, friends, and associates of the highly resourceful officer. Arase's reforms as IGP and later as chairman of the Police Service Commission brought lasting changes to the force. The President acknowledges the dedication of the former IGP to enhancing security in the country through initiatives such as the Intelligence Response Team, the Complaint Response Unit, and safer highway patrols. Reflecting on Arase's laudable service to the country, President Tinubu remarks, Arase served the police force meritoriously from 1981 to 2016. Sports update is next.
The curtain has fallen on the 13th West Africa Deaf Football Tournament
and the third Deaf Athletics Championship held in Abuja after a week of intense competition with 6 countries in attendance. Stakeholders are calling for improved access to quality education and increased funding support from ECOWAS to enable deaf athletes in the sub-region to compete more effectively on the global stage. This year's edition, which coincided with the 50th golden anniversary of ECOWAS, also featured the presentation of awards and medals.
I am sure that since you've been here for over 2 weeks, you've seen the good things in Nigeria as a country.
To showcase ability in disability and to enable deaf sportsmen and women harness and maximize their God-given gifts.
In another development, Baka Kiddies FA of Ilorin have emerged champions of the Under-17 Boys Commissioners of Police Youth Sports Federation of Nigerian Football Tournament after defeating Future Stars FA 4-1 on penalties following a 1-1 draw in regulation time. Correspondent Ahmed Fulani reports that the tournament was organized by the Kwara State Command of the Nigerian Police Force in collaboration with the Youth Sports Federation of Nigeria. The initiative aimed at curbing crime through sports while fostering integration and positive engagement among the youth.
The most pivotal role of police is prevention of crime. And one of the means we use to prevent crime is by getting youth engaged.
Elsewhere, debutant New Carew All-Stars Football Club Abuja are still basking in the euphoria of their glory as champions of the 2025 All-Stars Veteran International Invitational Tournament in Abuja, played at the main bowl of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. The newcomers lifted the trophy for the very first time, edging past Carew All-Stars 3-2 on penalties after a thrilling contest. Chairman of the National Sport Commission, Shehu Diku, and Controller General of Customs, Bashir Adiwale Adeniyi, who both featured in a novelty encounter between Team Diku and Team LOC, commended the tournament for meeting its goals of fostering friendship, unity, and stronger bonds among players.
From what we have demonstrated here, even at the grassroots, you can be able to be creative. It's always fun to play in the midst of legends. These are people who applied their trade 30, 40 years ago. I want to thank God for how far He has brought us in the final, and today the rest is history.
Cash reward, medals, and trophy were presented to the winners. With Sports Update, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
And the news ends right here. Many thanks for watching. I am Mina Daniels.